DSPN, the Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Blah, 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 blah. Miles Davis joins us as he does every single Wednesday. We got lots to talk about today, mate. How you doing?
I'm exceedingly well, actually, mate. Exceedingly well. And except for the fact now that your face has disappeared, which probably has made me feel even better. So I don't know what Lachlan's doing, fannying around.
Well, look,
feel
good.
Technology, but
feel good today.
Coming in and out.
Because from the time you lose the toss tomorrow, it's going to be at least 4 days of misery. The test won't go 5 days. I'm picking that we win it in Christchurch in 4 days.
What's the weather forecast down there? That's the thing that would concern me as far as it goes. Remember, I did say England are going to win one drawn because of the just drawn, and the other one ruined by rain.
Rained out, yeah.
Which one will it be? Probably Wellington, actually, because that's the nature of the beast down here in these worlds. I've got to say, I'm really looking forward to it. There's been a great history there. I've had some brilliant times over the years.
Yeah.
England, I've been here 40 years almost now, and I've been to so many games. I've been chucked out of the basin about 2 or 3 times.
At least.
I got nicked up at Napier in a one-dayer, and when Chris Broad scored a ton. And I just had a pair of Union Jack shorts on, and we were walking, and we went up that main stand at McLean Park.
Yep.
And we're just walking across, and everyone started pelting cans. We got to the end and realised you couldn't get down. I went, drink up, lads, we're coming back. And so more cans came down, but they were going onto the pitch. So this copper's come up and said, right, you're out. And I went, mate, he said, look, we either nick you or we try and nick 10,000
fair call.
keepers.
Yeah.
I got kicked out just there with my shorts, all my gear inside. And Tony Blaine was the 12th man. He came up, I said, what's the story here? I told him. He said, I'll get you in. And he gets me in through the players' entrance.
No.
So I'm back.
You're back. Actually, look, both of us have been kicked out of cricket grounds. I got kicked out of the basin too, and I managed to actually leg it and escape the old bill that day. That was actually...
I got dragged in again by these Māori boys, and they sat me up on the fence and then bought me a couple of drinks. And when the old bill came round again, they dropped me back down and then bought me. It's not exactly the most secure ground in the world.
No. So, do you have the firepower to bowl us out twice? Because Rahul raised this, and you know, I'm not so sure that you do at the moment. Not missing Broad, and not obviously Jimmy Anderson.
Well, I was going to say that it's the first time I can remember, like in donkey's years, that we haven't had Broad and Anderson, or Broad or Anderson, in the side. But Gus Atkinson is coming along well as a new boy. Chris Wokes has stepped up a little bit, and it depends on the pitch conditions. I think England will bowl well. We've got a couple of decent spinners in there. One thing I'm really looking forward to from the England perspective is seeing Harry Brook. He's a real
we saw him a couple of years ago,
rising star with the bat in England. England going to miss Jamie Smith, because he's another one that I think, if you keep an eye out for him over the next few years, he's going to be the business. And I think young man Cox has taken his place, be his first test if he plays. But what about your side? I mean, I suppose the biggest quandary at the moment is who gets dropped for Williamson.
Yeah, and it looks as though Young, isn't it? It looks as though he's going to be the guy to go, which is a real bummer because he played so well in India. Also, obviously, all eyes on Southee, mate, because, I'm not so sure he deserves his place on merit. I hope he proves me completely wrong. It is New Zealand conditions, and this is where he plays his best. So, I just don't like farewell tours in sport, mate. I don't have the time for the sentiment. Because winning in India has opened the door that we could actually make this WTC playoff final again, which was just, before going to Sri Lanka and India, there's no chance of that. But we have to dick his 3-0. So, they've got to be really pragmatic. Coach does, and obviously Latham does as well, and just go, okay, who are our best bowlers?
All I'll say is, how many times have we written Southee off before?
Yeah, plenty. Plenty.
And he's come back and, shown us to be wrong. I'd say this is, as you say, the farewell tour. I was at, I believe it was his first game in Napier.
Yeah. There was against you lot.
Won the test, and he smacked about 60, 70 odd. But I don't know if he's really changed. He's always been a little bit frightened of the ball. So I think the way he reacts is just try and slog it in, get as many as he can before he gets out. But it may have changed a little bit over the years.
It's frustrating at times. There are times where you really wanted him just to hold an end up, and he's got the skill to do that. All right. I'm almost reluctant to talk about this because we've spoken about it during the week, and it's so goddamn divisive. But you've been here, as you say, 40 years, and I've been on more Honour the Treaty marches than most people have watched All Black tests. And so, we're going to get labelled for even talking about this. And so just wear it and bear it. But the TJ Perenara haka thing, Miles, I don't have a problem with his beliefs at all. And in actual fact, I'm quite supportive of them. And I don't really like to talk publicly about it because I don't think anyone cares what I think about it. But what I don't like is I don't like using our national team, which to me represents everyone in New Zealand, for any political purpose. And it's only because I think it's just you open that door and then what happens? What is the next thing going to be protesting about mining, or is it going to be a Greenpeace protest? And people say, no, that's not going to happen. But, the day that you let one protest go, well, then why not have another protest? For me, the All Blacks are every person in New Zealand who wants to be a Kiwi and wants to be New Zealander. This is the one thing where we can put down everything else in our lives and go, this team in black is ours. I don't know if I even explained that properly, but that's how I feel.
No. I understand what you're saying, and it's meant to be representative of the whole country.
Everyone, yeah.
And I can't believe, I can believe actually, the New Zealand Rugby Union haven't really clamped down on it and punished them, because what gets me about it is there's only one side that you can talk about and get support. If you talk and try and present anything or a debate from the other side, you just get shouted down.
An asshole,
you
mate,
said, protect the treaty. Well, the treaty's not under threat. It's just the interpretation, these so-called principles that were sort of made up by a group of academics, lawyers and politicians anyway.
Yeah.
And all Seymour's asking for, in a very, very calm way, is to debate it. I mean, the thing's not even going to get passed.
No, it's not.
And yet the whole thing
it's not going to get passed.
Is everyone standing up and shouting down. And if you try and put a case forward for it, like Seymour has, you're a racist. Weren't there two parties to the treaty? Why is it only one side that's allowed to dispute the interpretation and put their case forward, when the other side just gets shouted down as racist?
Yeah, that's it. And honestly, that's what you're going to get for this. This is what you're going to get for this.
Yeah, and I love TJ, and as I say, he's perfectly entitled to make his protests in his own time. But to do that, and people say, all his teammates supported him. So bloody what?
That's it. I mean,
change the fact that, and everyone's saying we all support him. No, they don't. At least 50% of the country, if not more, wouldn't have supported it.
Yeah, look, and this is, and I do wonder whether in that All Black camp and in the rugby union and everyone associated with the team, whether there are differing views. I hope there are differing views, but of course those people are never allowed to express them.
Would you? Yeah. Would you speak up?
No, of course you wouldn't, mate. Because again, you're just going to get labelled and shouted down.
Because you get shouted down. Yeah. I mean, it's
we
can't have a debate.
No, and that's the divisiveness of it. But all right, in terms of the autumn internationals and in terms of where the All Blacks are at. Where are we at? I'm looking at next year's fixture list already and thinking those two games against South Africa, are pretty much playing for the number one position in the world. I think the All Blacks, Ireland, France and South Africa are the top four, and there is a gap now between us and the rest. Maybe the RGs in fifth can actually upset any of us.
There's only a 1 point gap between you and us, mate. Don't get too carried away. And we're on the up. So,
since when? Since you beat Japan? Since you beat Japan? Mate, you can't beat anyone that's not tier 2 these days.
We were within 1 point. It hit the bloody post, mate, or we would have won that game. Australia, the try in the last second. Great try, by the way. But in the last seconds, held out for that. We win that game. We win two. We lose to South Africa.
Sorry, you've already won 2 extra games. Okay, right. Yeah.
But I think the All Blacks are definitely. I agree with they're number 2. Ireland probably number 3. They've dropped their bundle a little bit. The Irish. In the World Cup they did it, and basically it was a repeat performance. So I think the All Blacks have got their belief back when it comes to playing Ireland. South Africa at the moment. They're up the top, so I just...
Yeah, no question. Yeah. And look, and you saw them actually, I watched some footage of those guys walking into the World Rugby Awards, and there's something about a team that has won back-to-back World Cups. There's a swagger about those dudes, eh? They have a confidence, you can call it arrogance, I don't care, I like it. I just love the fact that they just walking in dick out going, we are, and they are, you got to knock them off their perch. Like Man City's getting at the moment, mate. Do you love this? I mean, as much as I hate the other lot from down road, down the M30, of course, top in the table, but I'm kind of in that quandary now where I think, God, anyone but City, I don't know. I'm loving the fact that Man City 0, Tottenham 4 is that's a throwback score to the 80s, isn't it? I mean, both you and me know that. That would be a score we go, they lost 4-0 at home, they got dicked. Yeah, normal.
Well, I was at Portman Road in 2001
That's
when they got relegated.
Yeah. Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, and they were 1-0 up. Sean Goater scored with 30 minutes to go, and they conceded twice in the last 30 minutes, and Yeah, and they started singing "Millwall, Millwall, you are next." Yeah, because they knew
They have to play them. Yeah.
I mean, they've been dominant in recent years. It's always enjoyable to see the person at the top. They call it tall poppy syndrome, but I don't believe in that, mate. It's poppies with small stems, weak stems.
Yeah.
Because if you're right up there, why do you give a monkeys what those peasants?
No, you don't, mate. You don't even know. You guess whatever.
It's natural jealousy, mate.
That's
it's natural jealousy. So we're all enjoying it. The 4 they let in against Sporting Lisbon as well, and Arsenal are 3-0 up at the moment. Just watching it, but they've got a lot of players out. I mean, most of their back 4 are out. Rodri, who is player of the year, he's a massive loss as well. De Bruyne has hardly featured in their games. It's natural you get a blip. It's just a pretty big blip when you put it against the rest of them. But I'm sure they'll be back.
Wellington summer to finish with, mate. What's happening?
Wellington,
have they fixed the water leaks? Have they done that yet?
We've got one next door to us, mate. Seriously.
Seriously?
They came in it's been going for over a year. They came about 6 months ago, marked it all out where all the utilities are. Yeah. Don't dig there.
Yep.
They had to come back again 2 days ago because it had all washed off. and they actually came one day, 5 of them, stood around, looked at it, didn't even get one shovel out, and then buggered off, and I haven't seen them since.
Brilliant. I hope they're invoicing the crap out of the council in that case.
Well, I mean, why not, mate? You've got to do it. I mean, we're only 600 million out of pocket at the moment.
DSPN.